hard to ignore the buzz around AI these days, isn't it? It's popping up in everything from creative arts to streamlining industries.
Hmm.
But have you considered its impact on something as fundamental as our well-being? That's what we're diving into today, the really significant ways AI is beginning to transform the pharmaceutical world.
Exactly. We're looking at an industry known for its, well, lengthy and expensive processes, and AI is introducing some truly powerful new approaches.
Right.
Specifically, we're seeing major changes in how we discover new medications, how we tailor treatments to individuals, and even how we conduct the crucial testing phase, clinical trials.
And for you, our listener, who wants to get a solid understanding of important topics without feeling overwhelmed, that's precisely the aim of this deep dive.
Yeah.
You've shared a great collection of articles and your own notes, and our goal is to pull out the most significant and frankly fascinating insights into how AI is reshaping the creation and testing of drugs and how it's paving the way for more personalized healthcare.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get right to it. How is AI actually accelerating the often decades-long journey of discovering new medicines?
Well, an interesting aspect of this is how machine learning algorithms are acting like incredibly efficient researchers. They can analyze enormous amounts of data.
Enormous is probably an understatement.
Oh, absolutely. Think of all the genetic information we have, the results from countless past studies, and a vast library of scientific publications. AI can sift through all that to pinpoint promising targets for new drugs and even predict how well those drugs might work.
So it helps scientists focus their efforts much more precisely.
Exactly. Instead of researchers having to manually, sift through countless possibilities, AI helps them narrow their focus to the most likely candidates.
Okay. And I hear a lot about deep learning within AI. How does that fit in?
Right, so deep learning uses these artificial neural networks, and you can think of them a bit like the interconnected neurons in our brains. They're particularly good at automatically identifying really complex patterns and relationships within the data.
Patterns that maybe traditional methods would miss.
Precisely. Traditional analysis often relies on more manual approaches, defining features beforehand. Deep learning networks can sort of learn the intricate rules governing biological systems directly from the data itself.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because even if you find a target, you still have to make the drug molecule right. And that sounds like it needs a huge amount of specialized knowledge.
It absolutely does. Planning the chemical synthesis, the step-by-step process to create a new drug, is very intricate. It often requires many years of expertise, even when using well-established chemical reactions.
So where does AI come in there?
Well, it's starting to make significant contributions. We're seeing AI used more and more in things like QSR modeling.
QSR?
Think of it as AI learning to predict how a molecule will behave based on its structure and properties. And also in designing entirely new molecules from scratch, that's called de novo molecular design, and even planning the specific steps to synthesize them in the lab.
Sounds futuristic. But is it, actually working in practice? Are we getting better drugs faster because of this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The progress is definitely there, but it's still being demonstrated whether these AI techniques will consistently lead to superior drug candidates and a really noticeable speed up across the board.
So promising, but maybe not fully proven yet at scale.
Kind of. But we are seeing some really encouraging developments. For instance, advancements in how AI understands molecule properties using things like neural graphs and recurrent neural networks. These are expected to perform at least as well as the standard models. And deep learning's ability to process diverse chemical information is a huge plus.
And what about actually designing those new molecules? I think I read something about combining different AI strategies.
Yes, exactly. De novo design is increasingly using a hybrid approach. You have these rule-free AI methods that can explore completely new chemical territory.
Which sounds great for innovation.
It is. But sometimes the molecules they dream up might be incredibly difficult or even impossible to actually make in a lab.
Ah, right. Synthesizability.
Precisely. So researchers are combining these exploratory methods with rule-based methods that build in existing chemistry knowledge. This helps ensure the design molecules are actually, feasible to create.
Makes sense. Balancing the new with the practical.
And we also expect to see more AI systems that consider extra information, like gene expression data from a disease or the precise 3D shape of the drug's target.
And does AI help with the actual making part too, the chemical reactions?
It does. Natural language processing, NLP, is getting really good at analyzing the vast scientific literature on reactions. This helps predict things like reaction yield, potential side products, the best conditions.
Wow. So it's like having an expert chemist assistant that's read everything ever published.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Looking further out, if you combine AI with robotics and reinforcement learning, you could potentially get fully automated systems for drug synthesis.
Okay, this is moving fast. But with AI making these kinds of decisions, how do we trust it? Is it just a black box?
That's a critical point. Explainable AI, or XAI, is becoming hugely important.
Explainable AI.
Yeah, researchers are developing ways to understand why an AI model makes a specific prediction, like which parts of a molecule were most important, or generating what-if scenarios to test its reasoning.
So opening up the black box a bit.
Exactly. That transparency, plus being able to estimate how confident the AI is in its prediction, is vital for adoption. We're also seeing work on using AI even when data is scarce, using techniques like transfer learning. And the good news, these powerful tools are getting easier to use with more user-friendly software.
You mentioned some real-world examples earlier. Let's dig into those. That Evotec Exscientia story, cutting discovery time from years down to months, that sounds incredible.
It really is a standout example. What's fascinating there is Exscientia's AI platform, Centaur Chemist. It computationally analyzes millions of potential small molecules. Millions. Comparing properties, predicting effectiveness. And it narrows those millions down very quickly to a much smaller set, usually just 10 to 20 molecules.
Okay.
Those are the ones then synthesized and tested in the lab. That intense focus is what slashes the time in those early, often very long stages. The collaboration with Evotec, a big player, really shows the potential.
That's amazing. And then Recursion, their approach seems totally different, with robots and cell imaging.
It is quite different, yeah. Recursion is basically generating its own massive data sets. They use robots to treat tons of cell samples with lots of different drugs and genetic tweaks.
Okay.
Then they use machine learning to find connections between those treatments and how the cells look their morphology, down to subtle details.
So they're building a huge visual database of cell responses.
Exactly. And their CEO, Chris Gibson, points out this image data is useful for way more than just finding initial drug hits. It helps identify drug targets, figure out how drugs work, optimize candidates, even predict toxicity.
That sounds powerful.
It is. And their big collaboration with Bayer on fibrotic diseases, involving significant upfront and potential milestone payments, shows the industry is really buying into this data-first, AI-driven approach.
So AI isn't just finding drugs faster, it's also helping create treatments tailored to individuals. That's precision medicine.
Yeah, exactly right. AI is really fundamental to making precision medicine a reality. By analyzing a patient's unique data, genetics, history, lifestyle, all of it. Machine learning can predict how they might respond to different treatments and help pinpoint the best therapy for them.
This feels like a huge shift from the old one-size-fits-all model. I remember reading about a call for a new taxonomy of human disease.
Yes, that was from the National Research Council. They stressed basing disease classification more on the underlying molecular biology, not just symptoms. Precision medicine powered by AI is pushing us that way.
So understanding the why at a molecular level for each person.
Pretty much. And it's constantly evolving. Now we're incorporating even more data types, multiomics like genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, plus medical history, social factors, environment, trying to get that truly holistic view of an individual's health.
The goal being
What?
highly personalized treatments.
Yes, personalized diagnostics and treatments, and maybe even moving towards disease prevention or catching things much, much earlier. That could dramatically reduce the disease burden and healthcare costs overall.
It sounds like neurology might be a field that really benefits from this.
Absolutely. Deep learning algorithms seem particularly well suited for the complexities of neurological conditions. And what's really exciting is the progress in mobile processors.
Mobile processors? You mean running AI on phones or wearables?
Exactly. Powerful enough now to run some of these AI models directly on, say, a wearable device. This allows for real-time analysis of biometric data.
Which is key for neurology, where things can change subtly over time.
Precisely. Think about tracking tremors, sleep patterns, maybe even cognitive function indicators continuously. The ability to correlate and filter this data right there on the device using specialized neural networks for time series data and doing it with ultra-low power so the battery lasts, that opens up amazing possibilities for personalized, proactive neurological care.
Okay, so discovery and personalization are being transformed. What about testing these drugs? Clinical trials, that seems like another area ripe for improvement.
Absolutely. AI is making inroads across the board in clinical trials. For starters, patient recruitment.
which can be notoriously difficult.
Extremely. AI algorithms, especially using natural language processing and data mining, can analyze electronic health records and scientific literature way more efficiently to find potential participants who match the trial's specific criteria.
So, less manual searching through records.
Way less. And it's not just finding enough people, it's finding the right people. AI can also help optimize the trial design itself, the protocol. Getting the protocol right from the start, as that Lipset quote suggested, is key to making development faster and cheaper.
This seems like a big leap from earlier AI attempts in medicine.
Oh, a huge leap. Early systems like MYCN were very rule-based, quite rigid. The game changer has been deep learning, combined with much better hardware, and crucially, the explosion of digital medical data, partly thanks to things like the push for electronic health records.
We've seen some early wins already, right? Like in medical imaging?
Definitely. AI detecting diabetic retinopathy, skin cancer from images, also predicting clinical outcomes from EHR data. The benefits are spreading across biomedicine, understanding scientific papers, finding cancer subtypes, predicting drug-target interactions.
So how exactly is AI improving patient selection? You mentioned the FDA highlighting this.
Right, they talk about electronic phenotyping. It's about using AI to analyze EHRs in a much more sophisticated way than just simple keyword searches.
Going beyond just diabetes type 2.
Exactly. AI can identify more nuanced profiles, factoring in other conditions, current medications, subtle historical patterns. This helps create more homogeneous patient groups for trials.
Which makes the results more reliable.
Yes, reduces the noise from patient variability. And we're seeing a shift from basic rule-based methods to more diverse machine learning, including deep learning. For this, the Coalition Against Major Diseases getting their AI simulation tool for Alzheimer's reviewed by regulators is a really positive sign.
What about keeping patients in the trial once they start? Dropout rates can be a problem, can't they?
A huge problem. AI and machine learning are showing real promise here too. They can dynamically predict a patient's risk of dropping out.
How?
By analyzing various data streams, maybe images, video, data from wearables. Deep learning can pick up early signs that a patient might not be sticking to the protocol or might be having issues.
Allowing for earlier intervention.
Exactly. Offering support sooner, addressing problems. This improves patient retention, which is critical for getting dependable trial results. Initial studies using AI for patient monitoring look really encouraging.
It really sounds like AI could streamline the whole pipeline. But what about drugs already out there? Can AI find new tricks for old drugs?
Absolutely. That's drug repurposing, and it's a really exciting area. AI can analyze all sorts of drug databases, literature, patient records to spot potential new uses for existing approved drugs.
Which should be faster and cheaper since the safety profile is mostly known.
Significantly faster and cheaper. You skip a lot of the early stage safety work. AI combined with network medicine understanding disease networks is really changing how we think about matching existing drugs to new disease targets.
And AI tools like computer vision and NLP help here too.
Definitely. Analyzing pathology images, understanding research papers. IBM's Watson Hill, for example, was used to sift through text data looking for repurposing candidates.
Incredible. And what about safety after a drug is approved, monitoring side effects?
Yes. Pharmacovigilance. AI is revolutionizing this. Machine learning can analyze real-world data, think social media posts, adverse event reports filed by doctors or patients, to detect and predict potential side effects much earlier.
Spotting signals that might be missed otherwise?
Exactly, things that might not have shown up clearly in the controlled setting of a clinical trial. It allows for a more proactive approach to patient safety.
This all sounds incredibly positive, but there must be roadblocks, right? What are the big challenges?
Well, absolutely. There are significant hurdles. A major one is data access and integration. The EMR interoperability dilemma, as some call it.
Meaning different systems don't talk to each other easily.
Precisely. Different formats, data stored all over the place. It makes pooling data for AI analysis really tough. And then you have crucial privacy regulations like IPO and GDPR. They're essential, but they do add layers of complexity to accessing and using patient data.
So data is key, but getting and using it ethically and effectively is hard.
Very hard. We need clear legal and ethical frameworks around privacy, data security, and also AI explainability, especially for things like clinical trial matching.
And the industry itself. Pharma isn't always known for rapid change.
That's true. It's generally a risk-averse industry. So AI adoption will likely be stepwise. Companies will focus first on well-understood tools and use cases where the value is clear and demonstrable.
Proving it works reliably and ethically.
Exactly. demonstrating added value in an explainable, ethical, repeatable, and scalable way, and developing benchmarks so regulatory bodies like the FDA or EMA know how to evaluate these AI tools.
It makes me think about all those clinical trials that don't succeed. Is there value locked away in that data?
That's a huge potential opportunity. Data from failed trials often contains incredibly valuable insights. Why did it fail? Could the drug work for a different patient subgroup? Could it be repurposed?
But that data often just sits there.
It's often underutilized, yes. Unlocking that would be fantastic. But we also need to be realistic. The full impact of AI won't happen overnight. It might even increase R&D costs initially as companies invest in the tech and expertise. And we still need better AI explainability for widespread trust and adoption.
The source materials also raised some really big questions for the future, didn't they?
They did. Things like, how do we effectively gather and analyze all these diverse data types for trials? Is an open repository for trial protocols feasible? How can companies collaborate with sensitive data while respecting privacy? Can we encrypt AI algorithms themselves to protect patient identity when sharing models?
And can standard AI tools be easily adapted from messy medical data? Could we even shift trials towards more in-home data collection?
All critical questions we need to grapple with. It really highlights that this is an ongoing journey.
It underscores the need for careful, rigorous research, right? Not just jumping on the AI bandwagon.
Absolutely. All the disciplines involved, AI researchers, pharma scientists, clinicians, regulators, need to ensure the innovation is genuinely valuable and reliable. We can't skip the hard exploratory work. AI isn't magic, but its potential to transform the drug development cycle is undeniable.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. It's clear AI is set to significantly reshape how we discover, develop, and personalize medicines. So many exciting possibilities, but also, as you say, complex challenges ahead. And for you, our listener, we hope this has given you that solid, accessible overview of this fast-moving field, pulling together those different perspectives.
Indeed. Hope it was useful.
So, thinking about everything we've discussed, the rapid progress, but also those remaining the regulations, the explainability, something else entirely. Definitely something to ponder as we watch this space evolve. Thanks for joining us for this.
Thank you, viewers, for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your colleagues. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button below, so you never miss out on valuable insights. I'm Brian Edmonds, signing off. See you in the next one.